Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Huncho, back at you again with another video. So before we get into the video, I do want to comment that yesterday at the London protests, I felt like I was a bit unfair in my reporting, as I mainly highlighted the small amount of violence that had happened and only brushed over the fact that peaceful protesting had taken place all day, which I did mention, but again, I feel like as an unbiased news source, I should have delved a little bit deeper into actually what went on, and seeing as people were actually marching for something I've spoken about on my channel, I feel like it's only right to mention it. So as you guys know, we've covered the story of Belly Mujinga on my channel, and if you haven't heard about her story, I will leave that link down in the description below. But to summarise, Belly Mujinga was a ticket collector who worked at Victoria Station, and even though she told her work she had health conditions which affected her lungs, it seems like they still made her work outside even though she normally works inside, and upon doing her job, she was spat out by someone who claimed to have COVID-19, and then in the following weeks she had sadly died from the virus. Now the British Transport Police did come out to say that no charges were going ahead in the case, and it now seems like Belly's family took to Hyde Park yesterday to protest that there was no justice served for Belly.
Say her name! The people can try and maintain social distancing. As you come into the park, spread out as far as you can. Make the T-shape to check that there's no one too close to you. Please sit down until the rally starts. Today we're going to be marching to Parliament via Victoria.
Now I'm unsure whether any more protests will be held for Belly, but hopefully some awareness does get spread about a case and the British Transport Police take a second look at it, because even though sometimes cases get closed, it doesn't necessarily mean it was the right step for the police to take. And again, if they do reopen it, some justice might get served for her. And also, we need to be questioning her workplace and why management had known about her health conditions 3 years prior but still made her work outside and never gave her PPE. Also, as I said yesterday, A-list celebrities had gone to support the cause at the protests, and it seems like actor John Boyega gave a powerful speech while down at Hyde Park.
And that's what we need to create. Black men, it starts with you. Hey, it's done, man. We can't be trashed no more. We have to be better. Do you not understand? I'm speaking to you from my heart. Look, I don't know if I'm going to have a career after this. Fuck that blood.
So after going viral and touching the hearts of many, it seemed like John had feared for his career, which should speak volumes about what's going on right now. Imagine standing up for an issue surrounding your race and trying to stand up to racism, but fearing that you might lose your job. It's a pretty sad state of affairs that in 2020, you can't even talk about injustices due to your race without fearing you might get blackballed in the future. Now, as you guys know, John starred in Star Wars, and it seems like they fully had his back when they tweeted out in support of John yesterday, and honestly, this really shouldn't affect his career moving forward, and if it does, then Hollywood needs to hang its head in shame. Also, I've seen some people getting confused about riot police attending a brawl in the park yesterday, and if you didn't watch the full video, the brawl and the riot police had nothing to do with the protest. That was a complete separate incident. So again, if you haven't watched the full video, you should go back and watch that if you've missed out on it. Now, of course, I did mention about some violence that had happened at the protest yesterday, but over the course of the past 24 hours, it seems like London riots has been trending on Twitter after more small clashes had happened between police and protesters.
Guys, there's actually a bit of a clash with us here at the moment, and okay guys, so what's happened, we've been trying to walk away from the danger here, but it's been following us. The police
Goodness me, I mean, this just goes to show
On the news today.
Okay.
I mean, that just goes to show how dangerous it is for our reporters, for all journalists on the street at the moment trying to cover these riots when emotions are running so high. It's good to see you've got police there now.
So the mainstream media and Twitter are of course labelling these clashes with police as riots, but realistically they're not. Just because a few people are clashing with police, and yes, there was in fact attacks on news reporters and things were in fact getting thrown into Downing Street, I wouldn't necessarily label it a riot. And again, I just want to say that these people don't really represent the majority, and you're always going to get a few in any protest that cause trouble. So don't use this as a representation of what the true meaning of these protests really are. Now here's some video of the 2011 riots that had happened throughout London. It's just not really the same, is it? And again, any demonstration for any matter will have a few troublemakers, but we shouldn't really use that again as a representation of what's really going on right now. A quick update of what's going on in America though, and it does seem now like all 4 police officers have in fact been charged in the George Floyd murder case. Now I didn't know if you guys know this, you more than likely do if you've been keeping up to date with the situation, but there was in fact 4 police officers, 3 of them holding him down, of course the main one with his knee on his neck, and of course the police officer who was standing there and watching. Now the main officer's charge was originally 3rd degree murder, but has now been moved up to 2nd degree murder, which now carries a sentence of up to 40 years in prison, which is 15 years longer than that of a 3rd degree murder charge. And for you guys wondering why he hasn't got a 1st degree murder charge, that is because under Minnesota law it would require proof that the defendant intended to kill, and in most cases would require premeditation. And as I was just saying, the other officers have also been charged now with aiding and abetting 2nd degree murder and aiding and abetting 2nd degree manslaughter. And again, if there is any further updates in this situation, as always, I'll let you guys know. So moving on to our first story, and that's a quadruple shooting that took place in Harlesden last night. Now, as you guys know, I reported on a block party that had happened in Harlesden, and this shooting took place literally around the corner from the block party. But I do see a lot of people online trying to connect the two, but in fact, they were on separate nights. The shooting had happened last night, and the block party was the night before that. So it's being reported that at 9:45 PM on the 3rd of June 2020 last night, police were called to Energy Close in Harlesden to reports of shots fired. Officers attended the scene alongside the London's ambulance service, and they found 4 people suffering from gunshot injuries, which included a 2-year-old boy. Police believe the suspect, that being a lone gunman, was holding a handgun, and he approached the victims in the street, opened fire, and it's then thought that he fled on a motorbike. The 3 adults aged in their teens and late 20s are said to have known one another and are currently in hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The child is currently in hospital in serious but stable condition. A witness said, "I was in the kitchen and heard shots. I ran out, all the neighbours did. The 2 gunmen were still there and one was still shooting. They were wearing dark clothes and their faces were completely covered. Even though we came out, they continued. The shooter was using a pistol. I looked and saw my neighbour with a young child in her arms. The attackers left and we went over. The mum had been hit in the back and the child, it looked like in the head and leg. His mother was crying, 'Please don't let my baby die,' over and over again. There was blood everywhere. It was terrible. I can't get a word out of my head. The child looked very seriously injured. We thought they were dead. There were 2 men. One chased the gunman and had been shot twice in the arm, the other was shot in the leg. Neighbours helped stem their wounds with towels. We're all heartbroken by this. They are a lovely family and she is a good mother and neighbour." So fortunately, in the shooting, the 3 adults walked away with non-life-threatening injuries, but for this 2-year-old, he's currently in serious condition, and I'm really hoping he pulls through, because if he does, and he fully recovers, then thankfully, everyone has walked away from this situation alive. And I can't imagine what this mother is going through right now, to be shot at, then struck by a bullet, and have your baby rushed to hospital fighting for his life. I just can't really comprehend that, to be honest. This is what I was saying about people with firearms in the UK, because they're not trained shooters, and a lot of the time people get hit that don't even have anything to do with the situation. And again, we don't know if anyone here had anything to do with it, and it could have been a case of mistaken identity. Once again, I'm just hoping now that this wasn't some kind of gang-related attack, because from track record with gangs, it normally spirals out of control and a lot of the time more innocent people get hit. Now the witness did say that there was 2 gunmen, and the police are coming out to say that there's 1 gunman, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. Maybe it could have been some kind of typo on the newspaper's part, but when more information does come out, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. Which then moves us on to our next story, and that's pretty much a break-in story, and there isn't much news out there about it at the minute, but that's another broad daylight shooting, this time in Barking.
Vander, move out of the way. I'm not going to record him. Look, he's been shot through the window. Can't believe it, I mean shot. What I just saw. I won't record the driver. He's been shot. This is in Barking, guys. This is real. It just happened right now.
So Essex Live is reporting that an air ambulance has landed in Barking after a man was shot in Wilmington Gardens. Witnesses in the local area revealed that emergency services were seen dealing with an incident close to Barking train station earlier this afternoon, June 4th, 2020. The air ambulance landed near to Eastbury Community School, while a police helicopter was also spotted hovering overhead. And it was said that a number of armed police were also at the scene. A Metropolitan Police spokesperson said police were called at around 2:14 p.m. on Thursday, 4th of June 2020 to Wilmington Gardens, Barking, following reports of shots fired. Officers attended with specialist firearms colleagues, as well as the London's ambulance service and London's air ambulance. Officers located 2 males, both in their 20s. One of the males had suffered gunshot injuries and has been taken to hospital, and he is currently in critical condition. The other male has also been taken to hospital, and his condition is not thought to be life-threatening. He did not sustain gunshot injuries. At this very early stage, there have been no arrests. Now, there's currently footage circulating online which shows the man shot in his car, and I advise anyone who's seen it to please not share the footage. But again, in this situation, I'm really hoping that this man pulls through. And of course, because the news is breaking, that's all the updates that are out there at this current time. And obviously, as this develops, I'll keep you guys updated on this story. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Huncho, and I'm out.